Welcome everyone to my 100 days of bits and pieces where I do mini collages 4 by 4 inches and create them layer by layer for you. And I have been doing this for the 100-day project and it is so excited. So today we're starting off with our background as usual. The previous ones that you can see in other videos where I did lives of them, I use all sorts of different backgrounds, whether it's my journal writing, whether it's painted paper, whether it's already patterned paper, whether it's paper pieced together from my stash of collage papers. And so today I'm using painted paper that I had in my stash, and it's a beautiful piece that I just saw some lovely colors in there. I believe it was paint scraping. And so I added some stick glue onto my paper, and I'm just cutting off the edge now of my painted paper, which is, I just loved how that one came out. Lots of layers, lots of bright colors, its own visual textures in there. And I really liked the colors I was getting. Now, I've already chosen my background. I chose my figure, because as many of you know, I'm using cutout, models, figures, known individuals from magazines, etc., using up my magazines. So I just piece it together, make sure edge to edge, cut out the edge, the excess, line it up, and then I have my wonderful background waiting for me to add a figure on. So I am using my cutout image here. I wanted to use it last week. It wasn't going with the background, so I'm using this. This is one of Maya Angelou. As I said, when I have prominent people from history who've done great things, I don't always cover up their face. So I'm using this image of her, and I'm going to embellish her outfit. And I wanted to contrast with that background. The background is so gorgeous. And for some reason, I decided to pull out of my stash of collage this black and white stamp. So it's a stamp I had, and I used white paint and stamped it on black paper. And for some reason, with her white gown, I thought black and white on, which is a really stark contrast to the background. The background gives me a feel of landscape, sun, richness, just energy, positivity. And so I'm just kind of going with it with the black and white that I got from my stash of collage papers that I did, and this was stamps. So here I want to create a headpiece, so I'm just, I traced out kind of like a curve where her head is so I can fit it. So whatever you need to do to trace out, to try and see what goes where, and I just love how that looks. It kind of looks like a shell of some sort, just very larger than life, and I just kind of wanted to go with that, with her stance, who she was, what she believed in, and I just wanted to go with a larger than life feel, very stoic feel. And so I've decided, well, not fully decided because I haven't stuck it down as yet, but I like how that goes, so I think I'm gonna go with that. But I'm just moving it around, seeing if I want some of the white headpiece that she had under there highlighting, or if I want to cover the whole thing. So at that point, you just piece things around. I knew I wanted the background, so I glued that down. I definitely knew I wanted that figure. And also with the figure, think about composition. I talk about this all the time. Usually when a figure is looking in one direction, I like to put more negative space in that one direction. So you're looking, so you don't want the person right up to the edge looking out of the edge of your substrate, your paper, your board, or whatever it is, because it takes your eye, the viewer's eye, off. So you want it back with some space in it, and then you're feeling all that beautiful kind of landscape feel from the painting behind. So you want that negative space in front of her, that she is seeing a vast area. So I always like to position my figures, if they're looking in one direction, to do that. Okay, so I have the headpiece going. I kind of trimmed it a bit. I love how it's just coming up and out. And many of these I've been exploring with florals. This one is not a floral, but I like expanding it off of the edge of the paper. Because it kind of, makes it larger than life. It takes you off, brings you back in. Many times when we talk about taking your eyes off the page, something needs to bring it back in. And sometimes when it's attached to something like a headpiece or a gown, it can bring you back into that composition that you have. So I love that. So I wanted to continue this dress. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the black and white throughout everything. So then I thought of just maybe the top part. And so I go back and forth cutting it out and trying to see how I'm going to piece that together and how it works. And I realized I didn't want too much of it because it started to feel like something else to me. I wasn't sure. The headdress and all of the black and white to make the whole dress like that. So there I am outlining again, just seeing where I will cut, just where I might, so maybe I just wanted just a little bit of that black and white at the top. I'm still thinking about what I want to do. I'll keep snipping until I realize what works well for me in this piece and with the figure that I have and how it goes all together. So that always works out nicely, back and forth without gluing anything down. I think it's important not to glue everything down immediately so that you can feel, okay, once I feel, yes, this is what I want, I will glue it down and then start figuring out what it is I want and how it's going to feel. And then if it still doesn't work, then I will probably just clip it off and, change it, because you can always change your mind. Or even if you glue something down, you can always change your mind. And so as you see here, I'm changing my mind again. I thought that area was too much. With the large headpiece, it was too much. And I figured it just needed a smaller part that matched the headpiece right at the top. And so I think I'm definitely more satisfied with that. And then what I did also, I wanted to change up that headpiece. So I just did some little cuts at the top, which gave it some shapes. I didn't like that, the way it was shaped. It reminded me too much of something else. So I did that and I loved how that looked. Now I just thought I needed a little something else that went, but I didn't want to use the same black and white that I had. So I decided to use this, it's tissue paper, patterned tissue paper that I bought like that. And I decided that would be nicer because it feels softer and it has these lovely soft kind of florals, organic shapes. And so I just kind of make an outline with my pen and cut that. So that almost is like a cape that's going around. And I thought that would be really fun. Not as heavy as a headpiece, and some of the headpiece at the top. And then this flowing down gives me a softer kind of feel because it's a little see-through. And I love how that felt. Wow. And she just stands tall, stands elegant, very strong, and yet I rise. So at this point, I can leave it just like that. I believe I'm just going to leave it like this. But I'm thinking that, I might put a little white paint pen in some of the background to kind of pull some of the white that she's in right there, or maybe thin black lines. But I'm liking it right now, and I think I'm going to leave it just like that. I like